module 1, which is chest. Okay, like we said in an earlier video, let's talk about the steps to an exercise. But let's talk about what the chest is first, where it is. It's right here. It's a fan-shaped muscle that inserts at the sternum, the clavicle, and the upper arm. Fan-shaped, horizontal. It stays in the horizontal plane, or transverse plane. It was put on your body to have your arm go from here to here. And you can either pivot at the shoulder joint directly, or the shoulder and the elbow. The key here is, you notice my elbow is not here, it's here, because the elbow joint should be in line with the shoulder joint, not the shoulder muscle. Okay, so we know where the muscle is, where it inserts, where it attaches, its fiber direction, knowing that it's going to be in that horizontal plane, and either with the shoulder joint or the shoulder and elbow joint. So now what we have to do is add resistance to that muscle's motion. So let's talk a little bit about exercises, okay? Let's talk about the one that everybody does and has done, the bench. The bench is not an exercise, as people think it is. It's a sport. It's a sport that people move a bar from point A to point B. It really does not work the chest. One of the examples I give to everybody is like when you see a guy get off the bench, is he rubbing his chest? No, chances are he's doing what? This, which means his shoulders bothering him, okay? And we just talked about with the chest, it does horizontal adduction adding towards the center. I tell people, you know what, lay down on the bench and I want you to put oil all over your hands. Take the bar off, bring it down, and as you press, you know what's going to happen. What happens to your hands? They're going to slide out. So what, is it adducting towards the center of your chest? No. In addition, we're all anatomically different. So someone who has a very, very thick rib cage and short arms, when they come down to 90 degrees, which is, you should never go any further than that because you would pinch the shoulder, they're touching their chest. But someone with a very thin rib cage and very long arms, they should never ever bench. I don't think anybody should bench unless they're a power lifter. But that's just my opinion. Okay, let's talk about incline benches in the gym. Every single gym in the country has them. They're at 45 degrees. EMG studies have told us that anything more than 30 degrees does not really work the pec. The pec starts to relax, slack, and all the resistance becomes onto the shoulder joint. So every incline bench there, and people they're using a bar at a 45-degree angle, which we know is affecting the shoulder in a horrible way. So let's talk about a couple of exercises that we feel are extremely beneficial for the pec. But before we do that, because I really want to get across something that's very, very important, and we talked about it earlier. Going to absolute muscular failure, that is what is going to actually make someone grow lean tissue, which everybody, male or female, wants to do. But people don't, they don't go to failure, or they think they do. You want to recruit as many muscle fibers in that muscle as possible. Not being able to complete another positive rep, that is failure. Okay? So there are two exercises that I'd like to actually discuss. One is a flat dumbbell press or a decline. And as you can see here, there's a decline bench right here, or it's a bench. All we do is put one plate underneath it. So it's on a 10% decline, because as you lay flat, your chest is already in a decline. Okay? So I'm going to have Steve actually demonstrate the decline chest press, and I will explain how it should be performed correctly. Okay, so what he's going to do, notice the dumbbells are on his lap. He's going to lay back, and as he lays back, he's going to slightly retract his scapula. The reason being, you don't want his shoulders to internally rotate. Notice the dumbbells are slightly angled in towards his chest. Reason being, if they're angled out, all the resistance now is going to go, not that it's going to be totally off the chest, but it's going to be on the shoulder. So angled in. See how they're in towards the chest? So he's going to come down to about at a 90-degree angle. Stop. He stops. Dead stops and contracts up. Notice the dumbbells are not together. On some people, depending on their arm length and torso, it will be. You just adduct fully. Notice his feet aren't moving. And the dumbbells are angled. Elbow is in line with the shoulder joint, not the shoulder muscle. Notice the speed, the eccentric. which is the negative component, is done correctly because you can handle 40% more weight eccentrically than you can concentrically. So again, this is just for demonstration purposes, but he would go to absolute muscular failure where he could not do another full repetition. And the way to kind of overload the muscle is to do half a rep, a couple of half a reps, because you're recruiting certain fibers, but you can't recruit anymore. And then to take it even further, maybe on a working set, he would then drop the weight, go to a lighter weight, because now that he is exhausted, he can handle a lighter load. This is a drop set, which is extremely effective. And I put in most of my clients' programs. Notice the angle of dumbbells, notice the eccentric, and he's not throwing it up, it comes down to a dead stop. And when you do that, when you're coming up, you're activating those pec fibers to the best of your ability. If you come down and bouncing, that does not happen. Okay, perfect. Next exercise that I suggested, number one was a flat or dumbbell press. The second one is a cable fly. Before we get into the cable fly, let's talk about what you see most people do, dumbbell fly, okay? And a dumbbell fly, we talk about opposing resistance, like we did earlier, okay? As you come up with a dumbbell fly, resistance gets what? Less and less and less. With a cable, the resistance gets greater as you come forward. So it is a much better, effective exercise. All right, so Steve is gonna demonstrate. And if you have a partner, the best thing to do is for you to hand him the other side so that you're not actually overextending your shoulder like this. And again, he's going to slightly retract his shoulder blades, his scapula. This way, the shoulders do not rotate in. Elbow joint, again, in line with the shoulder joint. And he's contracting the pectorals at the top. He's not bringing them together and holding them, he's contracting the pectoral muscle. Notice the shoulders are not interrotating whatsoever. All you see here is the chest working. And here, notice how the pec is being stretched, and now resistance is going to get greater and greater and greater at the top versus the dumbbell. Now, those are the two best, I feel, best exercises for chest. Not that others will not build muscle, but there's a risk and a benefit. So would I do a dumbbell fly or a cable fly? What is the risk to a dumbbell fly versus a cable fly? The risk is much, much greater with a dumbbell fly than a cable fly. I want to minimize risk and maximize benefit. And you may not be injured today, but it's like a tree. If you go out every day and you take an axe and you just hit that, take a little chunk out of that tree, day one, don't get a problem. Day 2, day 30, no. But eventually, you hit that tree, after like a number of months or years, boom, it breaks and falls over. So let's review with the chest, again, the chest. What does the chest do? We talk about where it attaches and inserts in its fiber direction. And it's put on your body, and it does horizontal adduction. Having your arm coming towards the center of your body, adding towards the center. It's horizontal adduction. And it's really shoulder horizontal adduction, if you really want to be specific about it. Now, those are the two, I feel, best exercises. Don't get me wrong, there are others, but I wanted to show the two best ones out there.